forecast. We'll look at the Aru stats page towards the end. And let me pull it up actually. Aru stats timeline 6.7. So we can maybe forecast, because I think what I'll end up doing is like, well, maybe just do one banner review. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening, but we'll try to make it a little bit more relevant or whatever. A little bit longer term. Okay. What's new? Well, there's 2 days left on the coupon. This will save you 300 B chips on May or Bronya's outfit, if you've already decided you want that. And if you end up deciding that you don't want to buy it, this will refund you 60 crystals that you paid into it. So I'm gonna make the tough decision to not. I'm trying to cut down on cosmetics and whatnot. But remember, the coupon is only good for one of the outfits. So, you know, you can get one for 1280 B chips and the other one will still be like 1580. So if you're getting both plus the Kiana outfit, it's still pretty expensive. Now, if you can afford it, more power to you. Just where I'm at in life and with the game, I need to not. This one, 300 B chips, that's around like 5 USD. That's pretty good, right? 10 pulls, but each of these pulls is what? 120? 120 crystals worth? So then, of course, the $5 for 10 tickets is better than the, 10 tickets for $10. But this is one of those, like, if this is kind of like lunch money spare change for you, it's not a bad deal, because for medium high spenders and above, high dolphins to whales to krakens, they'll probably triple S Kira off the rip. It saves them time. If you're a budget conscious player, you'll probably maybe try to get one card, do your first 25 pulls or whatever, get one card, first 20 pulls, and just to speed up the farming, but not necessarily get your double S off the rip. A lot of these bundles, they're kind of mid, right? What the situations happen with these bundles is, like, on an SP patch, usually the long-term players that are high spenders will usually buy them anyways to prep for the next patch. But general rules apply, right? Usually you'll buy the bundles only after you've already exhausted your first time double top up, after you've already gotten your cyclic bundles, so like your weekly and your monthly. In my case, I haven't bought monthly. I don't even remember if I bought monthly last time. Maybe I did last month. I don't know. I'm cutting back. Slowly but surely, we're cutting back. But in general, the weekly and monthly are pretty good value. These two, the weekly will be better value per dollar than the monthly, but the monthly is you just get more. So, depending on what you're able to afford and what you really want long term. Outfit tickets. Outfit tickets and elf bundles, they're more or less kind of like standard fare. It's one of those situations now where it's like, if it helps you get what you're looking for and you can afford it, then, it's up to you on an individual level. I won't recommend for the outfit tickets or the elf bundle right now. Never! Thank you for the resub! Asterite bundle. This is kind of like if you're really desperate, because yesterday, or not even yesterday, on Tuesday, we kind of went over on stream all the different ways that you can generate asterite now. You know, like, the chat did the math, and it's like every week, if you're just playing regularly, you can farm up to 60,000 asterite just from regular gameplay. You know, doing a little bit of farming here and there with expeditions. You know, make sure you're doing your dorm errands. You can grind a lot of asterite. So this is definitely a luxury thing. Elf bundle does make sense if you've already set your sights on a particular elf that's available currently, like Elf Elysia. I generally will recommend against it right now, unless you're prepping for the next patch. In which case, like, if you're prepping for next patch, if you're medium high spender, this is fine. You know, usual rules. Like, chances are, if you're a medium high spender, you're not watching this banner review. I feel like the majority of players that watch the banner reviews are on the lower budget. Dorm errands? Yeah, dorm errands. Make sure you do your dorm errands. We were just here a moment ago. What ends up happening is you want to do your dorm errands and farm your work point cards. Farm your work point cards so that you can buy stuff here. Mainly, you want to be spending it on asterite, but like in this case, I'm going to get my Crystallum. It's a new patch, right? I'm going to get my 3 dorm tickets, and then I'm going to get my Einstein Taurus. And then I'm going to, you know, put a little in here. Easy. Easy. Alright? And then you have the rest of the patch to keep farming errands and work point cards. Okay, did I forget anything with the bundles? Let's go over the events real quick. Make sure you play the event so that you can get stuff. I generally like to get the outfits first, but along the way, because it's time gated or resource gated, I generally prioritize getting the crystals first, get the fragments. This will be more important for like competitive players. If you're, you know, if you're a casual player, this affix might not make enough of a difference for you. Maybe once you start, like, when you're graduating from Red Lotus into Nirvana, then this item will kind of have some meaning to you. But until you're comfortably retaining Red Lotus, like, you just let it sit in your inventory. Like, one day I'll use it. Legacies is still quite important for, you know, long-term building, right? Like, for your long-term war treasury farming and whatnot. And then you'll just, you know, pick out the rest as you get the stuff. Ooh, top-up event. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So this is more for spenders that are prepping for next patch. You know, I'll probably do a little bit of topping up to you know, get my battle pass and my monthly card. I'm thinking about maybe doing the monthly bundle before the month rolls over, but probably not. Because at the point where I'm at, like, yes, it's nice for long-term account building to get these option boxes, but at the same time, I don't feel like I really, really need it. Now, if you're gonna be topping up anyways to prep for next patch, you know, this is just an extra bonus there. And then I really like these like overall bonus events for just playing the version, right? You get outfit rerun, outfit box for those that don't have it. So each of these outfits are kind of like 8,000 asterite value, 8 to 10,000 asterite values worth. But it's good for players who missed out on these outfits long time, because you know, some of y'all are Bronya stands, some of y'all are Sakura stands, some of y'all are Fuhua stands, and maybe you didn't get these outfits originally. Main things to look at from this shop is, you know, apart from the outfit selector, affix lock wafers. Again, this is for endgame players, competitive players. But for everybody else that's playing a little bit more casually, Honkai shards. You know, this is very nice. And then everything else is just kind of like added bonus. Like, everything else is more or less farmable. But, you know, wafers, you kind of get them at a slow rate, but, you know, it's not terrible. Oh, and, of course, the summer outfits. Now, are all of these, because I own a lot of them, are some of these for Asterite? Can anybody check? I feel like some of the ones, like this one should have been Asterite, right? Some of these should be Asterite only, and then some of them should be crystals. It's all crystals? That's a bit rough, but at the same time, it's not that bad. So I will probably pick up this one, because this is the last one that I'm missing. But it does feel bad because some of these, a lot of these were given out for free or for Asterite in previous time capsules and previous events. So if there's a character that you really want, or if you just want to be a super collector, like as you can see here, I own all of them except for the Bronya one. You know, this is at your leisure. You know, this is at your, what can you afford? What do you really want? You know, the trade-off is it might cut into your pulls for this patch. It might cut into your pulls for next patch. But as long as you're comfortable making that decision, you know, it's fine. So yeah, I'll probably pick this one up after I do my pulls. Astral support! So what is this? This is make sure you remember to do all your tutorial stages for Starburst. And make sure you do your tutorial stages for the Pry Weapon. Ah, what's in Time Capsule? Huh. I remember these, and now I can afford these. Oh, but do I have enough Homu Legend proof? I don't. So the Dragon Boat Festival recently happened, right? Any Dragon Boat celebrators? I'll probably pick up these, and then if we have any of the Homu Proofs of Legend here, I'll probably try to catch up with some of the other stuff as well. I'll probably pick up the Kiyame first, and then maybe next year I'll pick up Bronya. Griseo trial, because I think her is this in the shop? This probably is in the shop, right? It's in this shop. So it's probably B chips. Yeah, it looks like B chips. Hey, Vilvi's back for B chips as well. Blue Swallow for Asterite. Rustic Noir, one of my favorite Night Squire outfits. Any Himiko lovers? So Himiko Remedial and Himiko Tuition are both back. Both of these have quite nice art. So I know Himiko is quite popular now thanks to Star Rail. So, you know, don't forget to play these trial stages, get some free coins. That about covers it for the events. Let's go take a look. All right, Kira, even if you're free to play and you don't want to pull here because you want to save crystals, you should still farm her fragments and build her up. All right. Usually on an SP Battlesuit release patch, you will get enough fragments just from playing the patch, playing the events, doing the stuff, and, you know, in addition, you can find some fragments in open world. You can get her from not having her at all to S rank. You know, 40 fragments to unlock, and then 60 fragments to upgrade to S rank. And then you can slow farm every week in the Asterite shop. You can get 50 fragments in the Asterite shop and work your way up to triple S. Just remember, though, In open world, your priority, you should still at least take 2 to 3 AE Imagine on tasks. Alright, don't get it twisted backwards. Alright, Cosmic Tour. This is Kira's gear. 120 pity. For full set. What are the off rates? Stardance is what you're looking for. Everything else is kind of like... Wait, Nocturnal Stealth... Is Nocturnal Stealth the, Prometheus one? No, Prometheus is Pandora's Box. Nocturnal Stealth. Whose is Nocturnal Stealth? Oh, Su Shang's weapon. Okay, well, everything's kind of like recent-ish. Starlance Prime is probably the oldest one, followed by White Dwarf, Astral Rend. More or less, everything else apart from Stardance kind of goes with their signature user. Astral Rend you can kind of use as a placeholder on every other Scythe user because it has total damage. So it's not terrible, but for the most part, the weapon off rates, like, it's gonna be hit or miss depending on whether or not you have those characters, you know. And if you have those characters and you already have the weapons, then any of the weapon off rates might end up just being fodder for you. You're gonna convert it, not salvage, convert to resonators, and then buy Taurus with the resonators. So then you feed the Taurus back into Stardance. Alright, Stigmata. Cecilia Youth is the target. Turgenev, quite good. That's quite good. Bianca Theater, yeah, Bianca Theater's alright. You know, it's great for the signature user, which is Equinox, but also not bad as a placeholder set for most other physical DPS. Xeno, great for Aponia, but we've also used it quite a lot on Shadow Knight. And you can kind of use Xeno on Mobius as well. You can kind of use it as a placeholder on Hersher of Thunder as well. You know, if your handle is not fully crafted and whatnot. Cezanne. Still useful, especially Cezanne B. Probably not as top priority outside of the Bleed Weather teams and whatnot, but like Cezanne B still holds up. But overall, I definitely feel like the Stigmatas are not bad for off rates. Weapons is a bit lackluster. That's okay, though. Expansion Supply! I saw somebody on Twitter show off the fact that they got Triple S Elysia today. And I was happy for them. Some of y'all might be in that category of player. You know, like, you're not interested in the bleeding edge meta. You just want to collect your favorites. And I think that's fine. It's a fine way to play. I feel like A-rank off rates on these banners don't really make that much of a difference anymore. Eventually, if you play long enough, you'll just get them all to Triple S rank anyways. And then they just become Battlesuit Shard fodder. So, yeah. Elysia's back. Nothing really else to say about it, you know. If she's your favorite, if she's the whole reason that you're playing this game, you know, feel free to roll. But I will caution, if you're an Elysia enjoyer, you should definitely still get Kira gear. Or at least build Kira slowly, because Kira definitely goes in the Elysia team. Whether or not you want to fully commit to investing in Kira, you know, maybe you want to save those crystals to pull for Elysia, that's up to you. I know for myself, I'll probably abstain from rolling on this banner. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still kind of a meta player, even though I'm not bleeding edge meta like I used to want to be. Need is a strong word, though, Nefer. Need is a strong word. I feel like we need to contextualize that. So Nefer's in the chat. Nefer's a top-level player. Uh, and Nefer's advising that for players looking to build Kira, that you try to get the weapon. And I agree in the general sense that usually the weapons for SP battlesuits bring significant utility. Now, there's competing schools of thought. Let me go back to the gear page for this. So there's competing schools of thought on this. For me, from 2020 to 2021, I was very much in the try to snipe the weapon school of thought. Now, opposing that would be Fragile's stance, where it's like SP gear is all or nothing. It's too risky to try to snipe, because if you try and then you fail, then you brick your savings. You know, you basically forfeit your savings, and that's too much of a gamble. That being said, what Nefer is saying here is that the weapon is her source of ice trauma. So that if you don't have the weapons, Kira cannot provide the ice trauma. So basically what that would mean is if you don't get the weapons, you'll still need to run Pardo. Which for some players, you know, like if you want to save and you're comfortable running Pardo, which is, in my opinion, probably still more than enough for Agony 3 Red Lotus. You know, that's just something that you'll have to keep in mind as a trade-off. However, the flip side to all of that is, you know, traditionally, even going back to 2020, rolling on SP gear, especially on release, generally hasn't ever been a bad investment of crystals. So, in conclusion, if you can afford to roll, you should definitely roll. If you've already decided that you want to commit to saving for the next patch, and you're willing to, you know, figure out alternative ways to, you know, continue playing Pardo on the new fights, I think that's fine. There will be some fights like the twin scythe bosses that will require Kira's like aim shot mechanic. So don't neglect building Kira on the side. Just know that without her signature weapons, you won't have the ice trauma. Thank you for letting me know about that, Nefer, because I haven't been keeping up with all of this. Thoughts on Cecilia Youth on Pardo temporarily this week? No Bastet? I mean, I don't see why not, but what are your alternatives? The only thing that you'll want to pay attention to, though, is, like, any conditional that doesn't work for Pardo. So, like, if there's any conditional that's very specifically about, oh, QTE or ultimate, but then you have QTE turned off, and then your only activation condition is ultimate, you have to kind of play around, like, when you time your ultimates and whatnot, right? Like, the M piece has bonus damage on charge attack, but Pardo's not charge attack, so Pardo can't take advantage of this. So, like, you could do it. Is it gonna be that great? I don't know. You might get more mileage just running Turgenev on Pardo, to be honest. No Turg, no Bastet. But what if you get some Turg pieces while rolling for Cecilia? Pull for ice cream? True. Anyways, back to where we were. So yeah, if you had already planned out to get rank ups on Elysia, like, it's fine. It's fine. If you're playing a bit more meta-minded, you know, like holistic account planning, and you're not like hyper investing into Elysia, I would probably skip the expansion banner. Now, that being said, you know, for some players, this is an opportunity to pick up Elysia, because I know Elysia is a really popular character. A A lot of the weapons here, I'm just gonna go over the off rates really quickly. Echoes of Paradise is still useful. We had this talk Tuesday. Earlier in the week, we had the talk about alternatives for Kira, where on fights where Ice Trauma is not that needed, Echoes of Paradise would be your second best just based on team damage. And then Kia Castigation's old meta, so like that's a collection piece. Crusher Bunny, not really used nowadays because Haxor Bunny's not really used, but Haxor Bunny or Crusher Bunny still is like a decent stat stick for any Bronya in a team, because it also does provide some team utility. Nebulous Duality still kind of used, but it is expensive to craft. Iris, most new players get this in an option box early on. Midnight Eclipse, still great for Equinox. So it's kind of 50-50. A lot of this old meta, but still kind of useful in a specific scenario. Gear-wise, Elysia, Pristine, that's what you're looking for if you're rolling here. Holmes, still used in some bleed teams. I still use it in the bleed teams. Ozlog, you can kind of use Ozlog TB as like a pseudo Turgenev. Ozlog really isn't used as much in fire teams anymore. It might show up one or two instances on Memorial Arena strat. Rarely. Linnaeus, as for Mobius, right? It's a Mobius set, but we've also memed about using Linnaeus as like an SP regen generic lightning. So Linnaeus you can use kind of as like a lightning placeholder set if you don't have Handle, which is also in the same banner. So pulling Handle from this banner means that you save time on your farming, because Handle is farmable, but it's a long time horizon. So it's not bad if you get Handle. So like if you can get Holmes TB and Handle any piece out of this would be great. If you can somehow manage to get Ozlog TB or Ozlog M standalone. Ozlog M standalone we still see every now and then, maybe. Like Ozlog M is still quite good in a progression state. Like if your account is in the progression account state, Ozlog M is still fine standalone. Focus B, generally, we're going to say avoid Focus B, because even though Echoes of Paradise is nice and Handle is nice, these do show up in Focus A. But also, Focus B tends to have... Well, actually, this is probably one of the better Focus Bs that I've seen in a while. Yeah, Zither's kind of old. You know, Key of Radiance kind of old at this point. Nocturnal Stealth was kind of new still. You know, still under a year. Mitternacht, kind of old, because Fischl doesn't see as much play anymore, but, like, Fischl's still kind of fun to play, in my opinion. Raksha, this is about to fall off. In certain, you know, bleed teams, it's already fallen off, but any Locha rollers... Any Locha rollers? Maybe you didn't get Locha in Star Rail, and you're trying to make up for it here in Honkai 3rd. Raksha, Shattered Swords is still like not terrible to have. Ana's craftable, but if you do end up with any Ana pieces, you can use it towards crafting your G4 ice. Wings of Reason might probably be the least useful out of the bunch. Well, Wings and Ana, right? Yeah, hey, Dave, how's it going? Yeah, pull for Raksha and HSR. Lota is the Chinese for Raksha. So, fun trivia for you HSR only players. Zenyi, not as useful as it used to be, but we still see it quite a few times in like MA double S strats or specific strats for Hersher of Thunder. So for longtime players, you know, Zenyi's already been in Battle Pass at least once or twice. Same difference. For most players, you know, you probably already have at least one or two sets of Zenyi, but if you're a new player on a progression account, I probably still wouldn't recommend rolling on Focus B. But it's less bad than most other Focus Bs that we've seen in the last, 3 versions. Elf! Yao Jing Ai Li. Elf Elysia. What can we say? Ice Team centric. Switch reset. Sometimes she trolls you with her gather. Her gather is not as nice as Water's Edge is, and we just got a free Water's Edge recently. But if you can afford it, not too bad of a deal if you're willing to spend for it. For myself, I only need a handful more to get to 4 stars. I'll probably try to slowly get my Elf Elysia to 4 stars on the next spending event. I'm not in a rush. But again, the user on Twitter that I saw getting triple S HOHE, they also got 3-star Elf Ellie, and 3-star Elf Ellie is kind of like the tactical sweet spot as far as cost to performance. If you can afford to go all the way for 4 stars, that's great. More power to you. And maybe if you're just like a casual collector, maybe you just want to get 2 stars just to have her. That's not bad either. But just make sure that, you roll according to what your goals are in the game. Now, elf rolls only cost 150. So just to have a copy of her at all is less expensive than a whole S rank. But, just weigh that against what your future plans are, because Hersher Sele's right next patch. So keep that in mind. Alright, we're gonna go over to the Aru stats timeline. So week 1 is gonna be Elf Elysia. Week 2 looks like HFI. Finality's coming back, so they're gonna rerun the whole trio tentatively. Schedule might change on global, which is EU and NA. Tentatively, we generally overlap with SCA as well for non-anniversary patches. Cezanne will be back next week, as will Xeno, and so it looks like all the stuff that's in the off rates right now is coming back. Or most of the stuff that are already in the off rates right now will be coming back. We'll keep an eye out for the off rates on Focus B in the next couple weeks, because those generally do change up from the CN banners. Trio outfit will go live next week, so if you've already decided that you're gonna do it, good luck. I hope you get the Kiana outfit on the 5th pull, or anywhere between 5 to 8. I hope you don't have to go all the way, but generally you prepare to go all the way. Right, 9,600 crystals for the outfit. Elf Kiana will be back next week. Okay, so Elf Kiana is actually an insanely good pickup if you don't already have an elf for Fire and Lightning. Basically, if you get Elf Elysia, or if you use Water's Edge from the previous patch when it was free, plus Elf Kiana, you're basically set for elemental coverage. Again, 3 stars is the ideal as far as cost to performance ratio goes, but I feel like even having 2 stars, like if you're a collector player, that's more than enough for Red Lotus retention. More or less, this is kind of like an okay catch-up patch if you're like a heavy spender. But I know for long-term players, a lot of us will be looking forward to 6.8. All right. Is week 5 Nick's ADV? Is that what you guys are talking about in chat right now? Vil-V will be in the last week of this patch. Oh, really? So week 5 is Nick's ADV, and then week 6 is Vil-V for the filler. Is this the part where I say it's time to do a subathon so that I can raise money for Vilvi? Next week, next 5-week patch. Nyx is Expa. Week 5 is Vilvi. Why did you guys say Nyx then? You guys are trolling me. Alright, anyways, 5-week patch. Try your best to save for next patch. Try to raise money for yourself to, if you really want Sele. If you're like me and you're kind of like 50-50 on this game, then, you know, figure it out what it is that you really want and spend your crystals and your time and your money according to what it is that you really want. Some of you might really want to just like start saving up Stellaron Jades, you know, start saving money for HSR instead, because, you know, like, I've seen a lot of people hyped up for Jingliu, and a lot of people still crazy about Kafka, so, like, figure it out what it is that you really want. Benjis, thank you for the tier 1 resub. Tier 1 sub. Both in week 5, so Nyx and Vilvi in week 5. Cool. When we get there, we'll take another look. I don't know if I'll do a banner review next week, because, you know, more or less everything's kind of laid out, but we'll see. Alright, chat, that'll be it for banner review for 6.7. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do our gacha pulls.